After years of waiting, Paralives is just around the corner. I've been following this game since the very first GIF of the window being resized, and I can't wait to bring it to the channel. Here's 5 reasons why I'm so excited. Okay, first things first, and the big one for me, that's the build mode. If you're a fan of the channel, you'll know that that's my jam. I am a creative builder. Any game that lets me customize what something looks like, I will go to town on it, and the Paralives build mode seems to be letting me do just that. First of all, there is a full color wheel for everything. Pretty sure that happened in one of the older Sims, so I know it's not in the newest one, and I am colorblind. I have tritanopia, so a color wheel or the ability to input hex codes or whatever way I can go and get colors that I know will work is fantastic. It means I'm not making orange and green couches. So yeah, full color wheel is fantastic. The customizability, scalability of everything, the free-form nature of how you can place down stuff, the grid seems very optional, which is good, and even the stuff that you place down and increase in size or scale will still kind of work with the Paralives. With the Paras, it's kind of magic, honestly. You're able to sort of place stuff down and they still sort of figure it out. You can stretch a bed out and it still kind of works. You can take an armchair and stretch it into a couch and it still kind of works as a couch. Until I really get my hands on it and know that I'm able to do, like I'm still kind of holding my breath a little bit for some of the stuff that they seem to be showing off, because it genuinely does just seem a little bit too good to be true. But that could just be years of sim games being pretty sort of lazy in what they let us able to do. So it's going to be exciting to see whether some of this stuff is really as customizable and still working with the live mode as it looks like it is. But you can see there that every item has multiple different color swatches. It has multiple different textile layers. You can go through and place each individual thing. There are curved walls. They're working on curved windows. They won't be in the initial launch, but honestly, curved windows are pretty few and far between in real life, really. Curved walls are fantastic. And just being able to sort of stretch everything out, adjust everything, color everything exactly how you want to, it just makes every single piece just work 10 times harder than it would normally. Those of you who've watched my Planet Coaster 2 stuff will know that as Planet Coaster 2 came out with scaling, which is a big increase over the first game, it instantly makes so many more pieces just so much more useful. And now one couch can be 10 different couches because you're able to scale and completely colorize and completely change the textures of everything. It means from a development point of view, they're having to create less assets for us to get mileage out of them, and from a player's point of view, it's a bonus because we get to do so many different things, and you don't get that sort of repetitive that you can do sometimes. You know, like in The Sims, there's like one couch that looks good, or there's like one table that looks fine in a farmhouse, and all the rest are too modern or what have you. Here, you're going to be able to really go in and customize them to the best of your abilities. Very, very excited for the build mode. If you are too, please don't forget to like and then subscribe to the channel, because there's going to be a lot of build mode content here on the game when we get it. Next up is the Paramaker itself, a really detailed and very fleshed out feature of the game. All the stuff you kind of expect to be there, you know, there's different eyes, there's different noses, but then each one can actually be manually pulled and prodded to how you want it to go. You can see there on the right all the different little things you can pull. As far as clothes go, there's quite a good selection, and you can also layer those clothes, so you can choose a top and then have a jacket over the top of it. So you know, different combinations of those will create different outfits. I mean, I think that's a thing in actual fashion. I don't know. I've wear the same 6 t-shirts and a pair of jeans for the last 20 years. But yeah, I think that's really great that you can mix and match them, and obviously all the different textiles and colors you can do. The thing that really impresses me the most with this is the things that you can place onto the skin. So be that blemishes or freckles, or here you can see tattoos going on as well. They can all be placed and adjusted around. You can even see the mesh of the arm that they would use in development to place it exactly where you want it to and change the style and size of it. And another little thing, I know it's such a little thing, but I think it's really great. Hair works under hats. This is such a weird thing that I noticed in so many different games where you can create the character. You can choose these awesome hairstyles, and then as soon as you put a little hat on, the hair just becomes a buzz cut underneath it. Here, from what I can see at least, I mean, they could have been clever and just showed us ones that work well with it, but here you can see with this para here that all the hair sits nicely under the hat, really nice little touch. I don't necessarily play live mode that much in these kind of games, honestly, but when I do build a house, I do like to try and build the family that lives in the house, so I'm really excited to be able to play around with these. I just love being creative, and this is a really great way to be creative with the characters that you're going to play as. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is the sort of mental side of the creating of the para. Like the physical, visual side is really well, very, very in depth, but the mental side does look a little bit sort of simple to begin with. At least there's sort of 6 or 7 points that you can put things into. There's a few different aspirations you can pick or what have you. Doesn't seem to be as fleshed out as I think perhaps it needs to be. I assume or hope at least that there's one thing they are working on towards the launch of the game. So the live mode doesn't really look great right now, but that is a good thing, weirdly. Let me explain. I'm actually quite a fan of the fact that the game was delayed due to playtester feedback. Majority of the feedback, the negative feedback, was around the live mode. These games are really difficult for developers to put together. They're basically 3 different games, really. The build mode is its own game in its own right. The live mode is the third one, and to an extent the Paramaker, with how in-depth it is also really its own complete system. Think of build mode of its own game. Think of games like Tiny Glade or Shantytown that are coming out, where they literally are just the build mode. You just create for the sake of creating. And then here, all of that customizability, the fact that you can tweak things and place them down really individually and stretch them out, like I mentioned before, means that then when the paras come into it, the AI needed, the coding needed to have them walk around and interact well and actually develop lives in the game is really quite in depth. So it makes sense that this is the bit of the game where they've kind of got to go back and spend a little bit more time and keep it in the oven a little bit longer. So weirdly, the fact that it was the developers sort of acknowledged that it wasn't great and that they had a delay to put some more work into it is a big positive for me. I think a lot of the time developers will just get a game out, call it early access, and just use that as an excuse for poor gameplay, whereas here it really seems that they are setting this up for a long future of working together with their community to create the best product they can. If you know anything about the development of Paralives, you'll know that it has been a bit of a Patreon success story. It's been on the platform for a good few years now and has been bringing in tens of thousands of dollars every month to fund the development of the game. With that comes a whole host of posts updating, showing new features, showing little works in progress. These ones that you're seeing on the screen now are just the public ones, the ones that they either released publicly or then released later publicly after patrons had seen them. There's hundreds more that as a patron I'm not really allowed to show you. I guess there's all stuff that is coming in the game that is exclusive to Patreons at the moment at least, but just the fact that the game has been so transparent in its development and has arguably taken on a lot of feedback from those posts in the comments, people going in and suggesting other things. It's just very exciting to me. I think the one way that indie developers can really set themselves apart from larger developers or AAA or whatever you want to call them is the fact that they can work with the community much more. It can be much more of a back and forth process in how the game develops. I think it's important for developers to remember that they're still making their thing, and they should always have an actionable plan and a vision and work towards it. But I do think one of the great ways that Paralives has developed has been how open it has been with its community as it's post stuff over the years. Even if it's just little things like here's a new track from the soundtrack, here's a couple of animations of what it looks like when people fill the dishwasher, but then also just huge developments as well, interiors of the buildings downtown, just real amazing stuff over the years, and it's just been a really great process to watch it develop through the years. I think that they are closing Patreon or at least stopping donations on Patreon. Once the game comes out, they're removing the financial elements of it, I'm pretty sure, although don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's happening. Obviously, the game will be sold, and that's going to be their revenue moving forward. But I think I really hope we continue seeing this kind of back and forth and this kind of showcases of new features before they come as the game continues being developed. And the last reason I'm really excited for Paralives, it's not The Sims. I really try hard when I talk about Paralives to not just compare it to The Sims, but let's be honest, it is the elephant in the room. It is the biggest game in the genre, and for a long time I feel like it has been a genre of one, with The Sims being the only real life simulator game that's worth its salt. We've definitely seen a few come and go over the years. Paralives is, the next in line to come and, try and make a space for itself in the genre, but I do feel like it's probably the one that's had the best chance, at least in the last few years anyway. But I think if you're any fan of the genre at all, you can't help but know some of the problems that The Sims has, both as a game and also some of the issues that the company has now, including sort of buyouts from foreign investments and all this sort of stuff. Not something I really want to go into on the channel. I don't agree with it. I'm not a fan of it, and it's one of the reasons I don't play The Sims anymore. But honestly, just in general, I feel like the game has got very bloated and very sort of soulless. So yes, I'm trying my best not to compare Paralives to The Sims constantly, but I also can't help but think how refreshing it is to see something that is clearly very full of love and just emotion, and this smaller team have been working on this as a real passion project, and that's something very refreshing to see and something very exciting to see. So yeah, I try not to compare the game to The Sims. I think it's very important not to compare the same game to The Sims. I think if I was to do a video of like 5 things why I'm worried about Paralives, one of them would be that people are comparing it to The Sims, and that's not a good thing to do. I don't think. This game is a much smaller production. It is made on much more of a smaller budget by a much smaller team and has much smaller scope. So I think for all of those people who are moving away from The Sims for various reasons, there is a slight worry that they're going to come to Paralives and expect the same kind of fleshed out gameplay, which I don't think you're going to get, especially at early access. So I think we've got to be careful not to compare Paralives to The Sims, but also it is a big plus that there just is going to be another option for people who enjoy this style of game. So there you go, 5 reasons why I'm looking forward to Paralives. These videos usually do better if you put a number on them, but honestly there's 100 reasons why I'm excited about Paralives. 95% of them are to do with the build mode. That really is where I'm looking forward to getting most of my gameplay from. But yeah, overall I'm very excited for it. There's going to be lots of the coverage of it here on the channel. So again, if you're not already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a single one. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, be good.